Okay, folks, so this video is going to be about 7013. So I'm going to do a quick recap on okay, so I'm going to do a quick recap on this and let you guys know what's going on. And the other thing I'm going to do is get some noise going here. The noise I got going in the background is seriously smooth binaural brown noise to achieve deep sleep delta waves. So it's by Cognitively Healing on YouTube. It does tend to focus me. So we're gonna go with that, and I'm wearing my Sunday Finest and a half cup coffee that won't last me. So, to recap, I did a view on what I thought this 7135951. I saw an older person with a cup of coffee, and then I saw a dead person, possibly female, with security guards and stuff. So the target, as described, would be fourfold. So we're gonna actually take a look at the four targets. I'm trying to find what the four targets were actually. So the four targets, I'll just write it up. So the four targets were Mount Rainier, Mount Adams, and recent event. I don't even know how recent event it was with Dad and an Orview. Okay, so these were the four targets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to address each one. Okay, so the first one will be Mount Rainier. Now, I live really close to Mount Rainier, and let me pull it up real quick. Okay, so this is Mount Rainier. It is a lovely mountain, high peaked. I have a beautiful view. If I knock down a couple trees, this is the side that I get to see. I get to see this side right here. You can see that deep depression there, where there is it's kind of like a caldera, maybe, I don't know. Anyways, this is attached to this has, I'm not quite sure of the topography up here, if this is built up or if this is a remnant of the last couple of eruptions. Okay, so that's Mount Rainier. I'm going to show you Mount Adams real quick. This is Mount Adams. It is also an active volcano, part of the Ring of Fire. And you can see it's a little different than Mount Rainier. This is very similar to the stratification that the Mount St. Helens had before it blew up. And it's also sitting. In fact, if you stand here on, yep, there's a good picture here of Mount Rainier and Mount Adams. So you can see that it's fairly interesting. So even if we don't talk about Mount Rainier blowing up, and we talk about just a lahar, this little map shows you the widespread damage that Mount Rainier in any direction will do to or is possible that will affect many areas. So just a lahar, where let's say a quarter of the face cascades off in a violent debris flow. Right here in the Ording Valley, I'm pretty sure that's Ording Valley. Yep, that's Ording Valley. Will affect thousands, if not millions, of people. And you can see it goes all the way down to Tacoma. Anyone in the Ording Valley will be affected. So these two lahar flows, while they're damaging and destructive, have a very extensive system to warn the people. So when the sirens go off every Monday, my heart drops a little bit, because it, not knowing what causes that initially, until I remember that every Monday they have a siren check. It's terrifying to think that this glacier or this mountain is actively going to move. So you can see many of the rivers, and over here by right around I mean, it goes right through the Muckleshoot Reservoir, right into South Auburn. This one chute will take out the 167. I mean, and it takes it all the way out down to Puyallup, and then from Puyallup all the way to Tacoma. It's just mind-boggling that somebody hasn't. I mean, I know they have emergency plans in place, but it's just ridiculous. It's people won't understand what's going on, and they'll be trapped. But that's okay. So, anyways, this is a general view for Mount Rainier. And Mount Adams, where is Mount Adams? Mount Hood. I wonder if that's Mount Adams right there. Yep. So Mount Adams will affect a much smaller area, but if it goes off toward the west, if the west side collapses, it will still affect I-5. It can, in theory, wipe out transportation on I-5, which is a major corridor. Mount Rainier, on the other hand, if it goes, will affect I-5 in several places, as well as multiple highways. So both of them have possibilities for damage. And that's not including all the other volcanic peaks in the North Cascade National Park. So these two mountains are a threat. How much of a threat? I don't know. So what we're going to do, that's what the targeting That's what the targeting was for. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at Mount Rainier. We're going to put a nice little picture. Well, here, let's do this one. For those who don't know, much about the city or Washington State, there's a very iconic picture. There you go. So let's talk about Mount Rainier. Now, the sheer impact of having a volcano in your backyard is it's always interesting. Uh-oh. Well, there it is. Okay. It's always interesting to have a volcano in your backyard. It's absolutely beautiful. But with that being said, let's take a look. So I'm going to take a picture real quick. So what I do know is, and I don't know if you guys know this, is we are living on a ring of fire. Ring of fire extends down, around, and so you got Russia and Japan, you got Alaska, you got the U.S., you got South America, and then it just kind of folds around. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever seen what the Ring of Fire looks like. It looks like this. This is the Ring of Fire. You can see that big plate right there. All these white dots are big earthquakes. I mean, like really big earthquakes. I predicted a 6-point off of the coast of Japan. That one is a 6-1. Shit. I was right. But, you know, holy crap, I was right. I didn't realize it was going to be for today. Anyways, Japan is... Oh, no, that wasn't for today. Oh, well. Anyways, Japan is constantly being hit by earthquakes anyway, so it's not like a major issue. My prediction was Japan was going to get hit with a 6.6 plus off the coast, and it was going to do some damage. I just don't know when. Not a big deal. So, on that note, this plate is pushing, and it's going underneath the coast of Washington. The Ring of Fire is literally moving and expanding, and it's causing these issues. Here is I don't know where Mount Adams is. Anyways, here's Mount Rainier. Mount Rainier is actually active. It has actual small earthquakes in and around. And then we have the small earthquakes here. There's, if you push on that, it's 11 kilometers deep. So when I look at Mount Rainier, this is what I see, right? I see this, and then I see Mount Rainier up here. Okay, so this is like a 3D view. So here's the land. Here's this. Okay, So I don't see the magma intrusion, so I'm not seeing the magma intrusion. Which would be really bad. But what I do see is heat. Okay. And I see motion. So let's just call it a vibration. So normal Earth vibrations look like that. Normal Earth vibrations with a slip look like that. Okay. This is what's coming. It's going to be a small one and a big one. The big one's tied to the ring of fire. The big one's tied to the California plate. There's a fault line that goes all along the California plate, all the way up to, well, all the rest of the world. That's this one here. When that one goes, this point underneath the mountain will literally pop up. It'll literally just kind of like pop over to here. So it'll cause anytime you got motion, anytime you have major slippage, anytime you have this seafloor moving, you'll have waves. You'll have earthquakes. And you'll have movement. Mount Rainier is not a stable mountain, meaning when I look at it, it looks like Swiss cheese. Normal concrete has structure, and it's locked together, and that's what gives it its strength. I can take a look at concrete with my jackhammer, and I can figure out the best way to pop it apart. I can use its own strength to actually destroy concrete. That's what I do for a living. Fairly easy. When I look at Mount Rainier, Mount Rainier looks more like this. All it needs is a nudge. It's porous. It's weakened. It's like a skyscraper that somebody has gutted and cut all the support members, and it's just hanging on a house of cards. There you go. So anyways, that's why the lahars are so prominent in what I'm thinking is going to happen. It's not this big unzipping earthquake that I see coming. It's just a minor event that causes massive casualties. So Mount Rainier, before this massive plume gets up there, before the unzipping, Mount Rainier will experience a small release some point on the, I want to say the northwestern side. I can't, I'm not really good with the location of where it's going to be. I wish I had a better map of Mount Rainier, but it feels like this area here. These are the recent earthquakes, and you can see that one, this particular one, which is a 1 point, which is just basically a rock fall, is up on the peak. This one's below the peak, and that's Ashford. So this is, oh, I mean, this is an active spot with minor little rumblings somewhere near Mount Rainier. That's 1.4 kilometers deep, so something's actively happening down there. The thing is we're not sure what it is. It's just when something burps, action will happen. So that's Mount Rainier. This one is when Mount Rainier has actually got a hot spot growing underneath it. Now, see, the problem with it is I don't know if the hot spot will actually pop out at Mount Rainier, or if the hot spot's actually going to pop out here in this this particular area. This particular area is just got a lot of activity, and always has had a lot of activity. But that could be the same hotspot directly underneath the mantle, or by the mantle, because it's 7.8 kilometers deep. There's no saying that it can't be the same one that's tied to Mount Rainier. So this could be telling me that this is the plume, the start of the plume of heat that's coming up to Mount Rainier. So again, Mount Rainier is getting ready to have a little shake, and it's all because of the natural process of the land, and there's not a thing we can do to forestall it. And the affected area is gonna be Boarding, Auburn, Renton, Taps, Enumclaw, and Bonnie Lake. Now, Enumclaw, Bonnie Lake. How much is it going to affect? I don't know. In Ording, if it's just a small flow, then it's just going to be multiple houses. The roads are going to be blocked, but it shouldn't wipe it up. The problem is I just don't know what the damage is going to end up doing, and I don't know how soon. Obviously, a nighttime fall would be much worse than a daytime fall. A flow, a lahar during the day while school is in session would be much more catastrophic than when everybody's at home and can jump into a car and actually hit high grounds. And on that note, do we have time to increase the capability for people to get out of these areas? Because from what I see, and every day that I drive this route, there's no way in hell. Even on a good day, there's no way in hell to get the people out of that valley. If we had some advanced warning, it would be great. But until the USGS and all the other government agencies that are involved in this can pull a rabbit out of their hat, I don't know how it's going to be done. All I can suggest is if that alarm goes off in the Ording Valley or Enumclaw area, I suggest that people listen to it and appropriately leave. Going to be interesting. So anyways, that's Mount Rainier. So the question was what's the probability? Oh, I was going to take a picture of that. Anyways, the question was what's the probability? The probability of it happening right away is like in the next day or two, is extremely low. So we're gonna go day or two. I'm gonna say 0%. A week or two. Maybe 1 to 5%. Month or two. 10 to 20. Year. 20 to 40. 10 years. I don't think we have 10 years. As much as I would like to say that we can get an infrastructure in place that would preserve the life of all those people, if we started today, we don't have 10 years. And I do know how slow the government is on any project. They're absolutely terrible at any project. I mean, look at 405 and 167 up there in Renton. How many times did they rebuild that? How much money did the taxpayers spend on that? And it's still terrible? Yeah. So the best thing to do would be to be prepared, do basic prep stuff for a mud flow, which would be to listen for the warnings, obviously. Have a grab bag, obviously. I don't know if you guys even prep for emergencies, but a simple bag with basic things like a little bit of emergency food that can be, last for a long time. Money and water, which is obviously nice to have in a small bag, and safety gear like matches, lighters, and emergency stuff would always be good to have near a place that you can literally grab it on your way out the door. Grab it and go. And if you have kids, having a safety drill where if you're at school, this will happen. You will meet up at this point. I know it's a scary thought, but we live next to a volcano. That's what you do. It's you plan ahead for a future event, and if it doesn't happen, that's absolutely fantastic. If it does happen, you can ride it out safely and get away. The USGS does have resources to look at for this kind of event. So they have basic things to look at. So there's my probability for now. I just don't think we have 10 years. And I think within the year we will have an event. The size of the event is what's in question. The size of the event is really, really what's in question. Because I see two events, and one of them is we're not walking away from. Even I won't walk away from it. And I got a fantastic view of the area and Ording Valley. So I'm going to get, I don't know what it is, if it's just ashfall or something, but I know my house will be affected too. Just not nearly as bad as the Ording Valley. That takes care of Mount Rainier. So, you know what? I'm not going to do that. So, Anyways, that's Mount Rainier. I'm just going to put on there 20 to 40% chance of it. So for short term, just plan ahead. Mount Adam. Mount Adam's different. So when I'm looking at Mount Adam, it feels a little bit more spread out. It's almost like it's better supported. So we're going to just go with better supported. So there's something in Mount Adams that has better structure. The heat's rising, but I don't see the magma pool, the magma chamber's not filling up, or it's not filling up as fast underneath. So there's a little bit of bulging, but there's nothing major there. Let's look at Mount Adam. Mount Rainier. Where is Mount Adam? Mount Shasta. Oh, cool. So, it doesn't look like they've had much activity in Mount Adam, wherever it's at. Oh, there it is. Okay. So that's Mount Adams right there. So a couple miles, it looks like almost half a mile up, they had some sort of event. Back, yeah, nothing major. There's a 0.08, 0.06. So these are small events, and then it had some up high. That's for the last 30 days. I haven't been watching Mount Adams. Again, it doesn't feel like it's. I don't have that same pressurized feeling. So Mount Rainier has pressure, has heat, it's got everything. It's got less structure that I look at. So I don't think Mount Adams. So if I was going to do a scale on Mount Adams, I think today is 0, a week is 0, a month is probably 10%, and a year is at best 20%. So anything exciting coming from Mount Adams is surprisingly low. The thing is when we get to the great unzipping, when we get to the big one, that's when that thing, the probability of major event rocks. I don't know if it'll be a full-fledged explosion or if it's just a little off-gassing, as the case may be. So and it will be interesting to see the actual effect on the cities surrounding these two events. So I'm pretty sure that is. I'm not sure what that is. There's Spirit Lake. What is that, Rainier? Oh, that's St. Helens, isn't it? Yeah. That's St. Helens. Okay. St. Helens is always rocking. So, okay. So I think Adams is much less possibility. It's funny because St. Helens, Mount St. Helens had that catastrophic explosion. Part of that was due to the type of energy stored up in there, and there's a lot of things that came to mind. So I think St. Helens might be a little bit more interesting. Anyways, so we got Mount Rainier, Mount Adams, and that's the other thing is if you guys ever want to see what kind of damage Mount Rainier would do, look at the damage done from Mount St. Helens. The flow from Mount St. Helens is still sitting by I-5. You know, all the ash that came down that river. I'm trying to remember what the name of the river was, but the amount of ash that came down and the pictures of the lahar just sweeping down that river with the full-size trees in it. It's like, oh my God. I love Mount St. Helens. It's incredible. So now we got that one done. Now we're down to the event. And that was with that was with okay, so we had an event that I was supposed to look at. That my earlier, so the earlier view for this showed a couple things which I thought were strange. That was the person. There's a dead person on a table with military people around them. So I'm not sure what all my previous view and how that works out with this personal event. I do know that this person here is tied to or part of something. And by something I mean an event, activity, or organization. It would be interesting to see if this person is Indian. So do they have Indian heritage? Because that's a big thing. Military. That's a big thing. And previous family, POUS, previous family experience. Okay. So now the other thing is, it's not just this person, right? So this person had an event. He related to somebody. Now, from where I sit, this somebody, whether he realizes it or not, has so either the other person has or had an event. And I think it was a low-key event. Or low energy. So it's going to be interesting to find out if what if they're watching. Let me check real quick. Yes, yes, they are watching. And they said Bonnie Lake is not in the Lahar path. I think they're up on the hill to be safe. Sumner people for the okay. So you're right. The Lahar event shouldn't affect a lot of Bonnie Lake. Just like I'm not going to be affected by the Ording flood yet. I'm overlooking Ording. Excellent. So, I guess my question to you was, have you having or had an event, or a low energy event, either orbs, energy, dreams, contact, or other, even psi abilities is just float my boat. So, it's okay. I'm just looking to see if you had, if any of these things have happened to you: orbs, energy, dreams, contact, or psi abilities. Something that's would make you stand out, or make you special, or Indian heritage. I mean, Indian heritage is a big thing. So, it would be interesting to see if that is part of it. So Dad has an event, or events, and the last part of this target was an aura reading on the event. So let's do a quickie aura reading. So I don't know if this is what your dad saw. Yeah, no, I wasn't gonna body scan them. This is this is the others. This this one's out of the equation. I totally understand and I totally comply with all requests not to not to scan on somebody who doesn't want to be scanned. It is truly intrusive, and I totally understand it. So the last part of this is basically, well, I can't tell if this is a good person or a bad person, just shows the basic energies of whatever this is. So whether this is real or not, this is what I'm picking up. It's funny too, because on that note, we got done, one of the tasks that I had just done was Mona 2. Didn't know, it was a double blind event, so we didn't know it was Mona 2. So a group of us got together and we basically wrote out a bunch of what we saw for Mona 2. And it turned out mine was actually pretty good. I was really surprised to see that a lot of what I drew out was for or related to the movie. It wasn't nearly as good as the other guys, but for a double blind event, I did pretty good. We can look at fictional characters, even if this is made up, even if this is not real, or all my imagination, or all somebody else's imagination. We can it doesn't matter if it involves just straight up UFOs. These are the two that I see involved in it. And if you look up here in this picture that I just drew, this is where they were sitting. These two are sitting in that. So this is either a tall white or a manta. This is not a human. This is not a Norwegian or whatever they call it. The head is oblong. The clothes are. She's got a. I don't know what you call it. It's some sort of. I want to call it just a big old collar, and I can't describe it. It's grayish white. So anyways, these guys are sitting in here. And it doesn't matter if this person had contact or whatnot. This is what I see. The aura reading is they're going somewhere and doing something at high activity. As far as I'm concerned, they're neutral to good. Is an accidental. The problem with these guys, even on accidents, there's a reason why that you are able to pick up on them. So if you're driving down the road, for whatever reason, your eyes are drawn to where they are, where they will be, or the general location. I mean, it's almost like some people can pick up this, and they know it's strange, and then they can literally hone in on where these things are. So I still think the military is involved. Whoever these guys are, whatever these guys are, military is involved. So if the military is involved, if these guys are part of whatever operation the military is going, this is where I think that's kind of a neutral kind of thing, because I don't, unless we had better details about what the military is actually doing, which we never will. And then it's hard to draw a conclusion whether the military aspect is good, bad, or otherwise. You just can't do it. It's just not possible. So my take on it is that these beings are part of something that happened wherever your dad was at, going to an event, going to probably going to look at that dead person that I was drawing about. And that's why I say I think the military is involved in this. I just don't know how. And it really doesn't matter, because I can't prove, on this one, I can't prove anything at all. So, there you have it. Mount Rainier, Mount Adams, the event, and the beings involved. Very ant-like, tall, white, or possible manted craft, and the military is involved. I do appreciate the task. That was a really tough one. I had no clue it was a 4-part task. It just, when I saw the amount of different directions that I could have gone for this one particular task number, I was really surprised. So it really is fun to be able to go back through now and actually take a look at what my data represents. Yeah, you can go ahead and send that to me. I think what I'll do is I'll at some point write this up again, figure out how to grab all the data, grab all the 2 videos, and kind of, I'll have to talk to somebody about how to rework it so I have the 2 videos to compare. And then at some point, maybe me and you can go on either text or chat, and then we can talk about what over there. It would be really interesting to have the other person talk about it too, because I would like to talk to that other person about the event from my perspective of where I'm standing on what I see, and explain it to them, and then see what their perspective. Because again, it's an incidental contact, and it would be interesting to see, because maybe I can get clarity on why they picked up on it, because you know, a lot of people, they truly don't want to see these things, and they will truly block it at every step of the way. So anyways, folks, it was fun. This is my take on 7013-5951, and I will probably do a part 3. So thank you very much, and you all have a good day.